Cedric, what's good, brother? What's good? Good morning to you. Let me get everything squared away so we can get this show locked in and ready to go. Peace, what's good? What's good? Let's get ready for another great show. We got another good one. Harris, what's good? What's good? All right, let's cut this intro. Let's cut the music. Cut. All right, let's cut the intro. Let's get on camera. Make sure it's adjusted well. Let me get this down just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Harris, I was checking out your video last night of Ole Miss and Georgia. I started watching that as I was going through getting ready for the show. So props to you, man. I think you have a really good skill with how you can hold a conversation while you're reacting to these videos from like the game film. I think that's really good. I was telling my girl last night, I was like, this is a skill because I always have like a subject that's in front of me that I'm speaking on, but I'm like, you're doing this conversationally, responding to the game, or reacting to the game. So props to you, man. Keep doing your thing. Make sure my mic is good. I like this level right here. All right, so the Browns have a victory Monday, and we're going to celebrate the victory. We're going to be real and talk about what it is, what it means. We're going to look at the Cleveland media. We're going to see if this fool's gold or is this truly a turning point. We're going to look at how the Cleveland media is taking this. We're going to look at how the Cleveland media is taking this win versus Miami Dolphins and what they're saying as early as 6 a.m. this morning. They talk about playoffs. That's what they're talking about. No problem, man. Just got to build the knowledge like you. Hey, man, you can get there, man. Just keep studying the tape. I'm going to tell you one thing. The more you watch film, the more you watch the games, the more you keep breaking down the tape, that will get you so far ahead of what these other people are. A lot of the difference between me and the Cleveland media when I get on here, I'm coming from a place of I'm studying the game of football a whole lot more than I ever have in my entire life. I'm trying to look at the game through a different lens, and I'm watching more tape than everybody else. I watched Fernando Mendoza tape last night versus Michigan State. That was 7-on-7 practice. Those teams were not in the same room with each other. I watched the entire Jackson Dart game yesterday. I was watching the Green Bay Packers versus the Cardinals game yesterday. So just watching a lot of football. I watched the Atlanta Falcons last night lose to the San Francisco 49ers. So just keep grinding the tape, keep studying the game, and you'll get to where you want to go for sure. You'll get there. So we're not gonna hold this thing long. Dillon Gabriel still not it. If you're a QB and you got a running back and the defense carry you, that's not good. Beast, I like the way you're thinking, my brother. I like the way you're thinking. So yesterday in my chat, I had the most people I've ever had watching me live, and I had people just trying to force people to say Dillon Gabriel was good or he played good because the Browns won. And first off, I don't like people tone policing people. I don't like people trying to tell people what they need to think. Think and say what you want to say as long as you're not disrespecting me or anything like that. But I don't rock with that. Also, just be real. If you're watching the game, he had 55 yards. Facts. That was Junkins with the touchdowns. Them 3 touchdowns made him crush it in fantasy. Dillon Gabriel had 55 yards going into the second half. He ended the game with 118 yards. Like, come on now. This is not. He didn't throw for 350. He didn't do what Joe Flacco did versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, keep this in perspective. I was thinking about playing his response in his post-game presser last night. With Dillon Gabriel, he didn't even look excited. You know what I'm saying? Dillon Gabriel didn't even look excited. So I'm not going to just be going crazy like he did so well. He don't even believe he did well. Shout out to you. The growth in the channel was showing. Glad to be a part of it. Zedric, man, I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. I definitely put in the work. And I'm always thinking of new ways to keep it creative. So even if all my ideas don't come out in every single episode, I'm always looking at something like, okay, what can I add to it to keep the interest? Because I know that eventually shows and stuff that we watch and podcasts, they get to a point where they almost seem stale, where when they come on to me, when they go live 5 times a week, you usually get 2 shows, they just kind of talking about nothing. So I'm always conscious and aware of those things because I don't want to just get up here just to get up here. I want to make sure I have good subjects to talk about. I'm laying out a good show. I'm bringing y'all something new, and I'm giving y'all my perspective, which tends to be a little bit different because I'm not trying to get into media circles, and I'm not trying to take people and use their name as the reason why y'all come watch. I'm gonna get this person on the show, this person on the show. It's like, even down the line, when I think about where I want my show to grow to and where I want it to be, I don't think I would get athletes on the show just to have them on the show. I would do more of an educational. Hey, Joe Hayden, what are you seeing here? What did Tyson Campbell do in that game that was good? That's what I would do. Van, what's good? Outside of that one run, the run game was kept in check. Shows what a great field position could do. That is a fact. Also, everybody going at Myles Garrett. People saying, oh, they're more frustrated than the players who put their bodies on the line, which is crazy. I'm going to get to that later on in the show. Complementary football is the defense being able to do things and get more creative. When the offense was so bad in these other games, the defense couldn't send a blitz. They couldn't take a risk. They couldn't take a chance. That's the difference. That's what Myles Garrett is explaining. Us blitzing Tua near the goal line 2 different times, those things made a difference in the game. That caused the interception. So it's stuff like that that you need to be able to do when your offense has put points on the board. So it's just a lot of lack of understanding in football. And, that's kind of where I would say wires get crossed and people just don't really get it. But we're going to get to it. This is a Victory Monday. So we're going to start this thing off, right?
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woo, woo. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woo, woo. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woo, woo. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woo, woo.
We're going to definitely do it. We're going to enjoy this Victory Monday, but we still going to be real about it. The Browns only gave us 3 Victory Mondays last year. We got 2 so far this year. We're going to enjoy them. I've been waiting to play that. I had that just waiting, so I wanted to play that. Myles Garrett said 1 game not good enough after the game. Myles Garrett is correct. I agree with Myles Garrett on that. Now, we're going to start out on a positive note. We're giving out game balls. We're giving out game balls today. The first game ball. I know during the stream, I was kind of saying who I would give game balls to, but just after sleeping on it, after really thinking about it, this is who I would give the first game ball to. Got some graphics for y'all. First game ball, everybody should know this. It's going to Quinshon Judkins. Basically, Kevin Stefanski decided it was time. We're going to put Quinshon Judkins out there. We're going to live and die with him running the ball as many times as we can get him the ball. Also, we're going to give Dylan Sampson the ball. We're going to limit Jerome Ford's carries. I think that was the great thing to do. I do see how they can win more than 3 this year. It's a path that will lead them to winning more than 3 games this year. also that path lowers them in where they'll be able to get their QB in 2026. So it's a catch-22. All the bad teams need QBs. What do you know? Who we got next up? Next up, the next game ball. We giving it to Tyson Campbell. In the moment, I felt like Tyson Campbell should get a game ball. Everybody's going to talk about his pick six that he had. The pick six was great. It was a good redemption play from him. But the play that I would like to highlight from him, I might even highlight this in a film review. He was the one, when HEN could have broke for the long touchdown, he hawked down and ran down HEN, which was a touchdown-saving run that he made to stop him. That was a very big play. People are not really talking about it. But when it comes to speed and when it comes to just being there and giving effort, you cannot say he is not giving you the effort. He is giving you the effort. So he gets the second game ball. And it's funny because people were talking about the turnovers and stuff like that. But that play that he made to save that touchdown, that is a winning football play. You need guys to put it all out there, put it all on the line, and put their bodies on the line and give that extra effort so you can win. That was a winning football play. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that. Let's get to the last one. Who gets the last one? I got to do a drum roll for this one. The last one is going to be Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit said he didn't know what it felt like to win. He didn't know. Zedric, you're right on top of it. Grant Delpit said he didn't know what it felt like to win. They haven't won in so long. He wanted to get that winning feeling back. Grant Delpit really showed up. He got some hits on the quarterback. He was the one on the kickoff return. Our starting safety playing kickoff return, forced a fumble. He was all over the field yesterday. He had that great hit to stop them when they went for it on 4th and 8. He ended up even knocking that receiver out the game off of that hit. He was all over the field. He was making plays. He put himself out there earlier in the year when he said, it's no problem tackling Derrick Henry. They shut down Derrick Henry. He put himself out there by saying, we haven't won. I don't know what it feels like to win because we haven't won enough. And he showed up in the game. Now, it was a lot of guys on the defense who I could have gave it to, but I give guys extra points when they put the target on their back by calling things out in the media and they back it up. You get some extra points when you do things like that. So those are my three game balls. Quinshon Judkins, Tyson Campbell, and Grant Delpit. Those are my three. Let me know if y'all agree, disagree with who I decided to get a game balls to. Those are my three. I thought those guys were the difference makers in the game. To me, they were the difference makers. All right, I got to add one more thing. Okay, I can't forget that later. Now, let's get to the Cleveland media. Now, you see how we highlighted who was making plays. We highlighted who was doing well. We're not going crazy. We're not saying the Browns are going to go to the Super Bowl or anything like that. Unfortunately, the Cleveland media is viewing this win totally different than me. And I'm not surprised. So let's get to the first clip that we got for today's show. Let's get this up here. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. How you doing, Ms. Jones? Shout out to you for being here. All right, let's see. Let me slightly adjust this tab right here. And we're going to get it. We're going to get it. All right, there we go. All right, let's play it. This is them this morning. I got to speed them up just a little bit, man. I can't listen to YouTube at normal speed. I'm sorry, y'all. We're going to do 1.25. I ain't going to go too crazy. Let's go. Let's see what they say.
Yeah, they couldn't get away with it. With Tua, they knew they could get away with it, so especially in those conditions.
Your mind starts playing tricks on you. 216-474-0092. I have the notes right in front of me. And I wrote down the records of the teams that they play coming up. Now, you're 2-5. You're 2-5. Let me go. Oh my God! Can we go through the standings real quick? This
wild,
turns into a bit of a
Cedric.
70.
Are you
Cedric
asking about
is
whether
wild.
they're in the hunt?
All right, you're 2-5 right now. You're 12th. Ahead of you, you have the Raiders, the Texans, the Bengals, the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs might be a team that's going to hit the gas here in a second. All right, Jacksonville has fallen. They're 2-3, or the 4-3. They've lost 2 in a row, and they looked uncompetitive against the Rams over in London yesterday. But Travis Hunter got a touchdown, and everybody's excited about that. Good for him. All right, this is what I'm going to lead you to a place here, and I want to know: do you start to think about whether or not they can make a run? You got the Patriots coming up on the road. Patriots are a hot football team. I think they've won 3 in a row.
See, we're 7-point dogs.
We are 7-point dogs. They're 5-2. If you get that game, if you find a way to win that game, if you put, as the kids like to say, if you put Drake May in hell and you get to 3-5, are we having a different conversation? Because I just want to now, you said you were getting the responses, so here we go. At New York, the Jets, they're 0-7.
They're the worst team. It's them and
without a doubt.
And they beat. Right, and Miami beat them.
That's Rod Taylor out there yesterday.
Miami beat them.
Yes. Baltimore's 1-5, but that's with an asterisk. 2-5 the Raiders. They're a mess. 49ers are 6-2. That's a good football team. Even with the injuries, are good. I think they definitely want to get Brock Purdy back, but still. Tennessee's 1-6. Then you go through a stretch here.
Good morning, Ms. Brown. So they are trying to sell themselves on they're going to get to the Browns potentially making the playoffs, the Browns winning the division. I'm watching this stuff, and I'm realizing they know less about football than I thought. They know less. I would consider yesterday's win a game that the Browns shouldn't have lost, and they didn't lose it. But this doesn't change. Yesterday, I don't view Kevin Stefanski any differently. I don't view Andrew Berry any differently. I don't view anybody differently after yesterday's game. I view them the exact same way. Nothing changed. This is when you know people don't really know ball. That's a fact. That is a fact. When you're watching this and you listening to them speak, they're all over the place. And now, do we have some wins? Do we have some teams that we really should beat? The Jets. Should we beat the Jets? Yes. Do I see us beating New England? No. I don't think we can score enough points for New England. We got the Bears. That's an iffy. I don't think we're going to beat the 49ers when we get there. Should we beat the Titans? Yes. So that's 2 wins I'm seeing. But then we got the Bills towards the end of the year. We got Cincinnati again. We got the Ravens again. Lamar Jackson should be back because they've been on a bye. So, I'm looking at 4 to 6 wins. I think 6 wins is the ceiling. I said 6 wins was the ceiling before the season. I don't see it being any different. I didn't know Tua was that bad. Tua is a one-trick pony. So when people Beast, you are always throwing me alley-oops, man. You're always throwing me alley-oops. This takes me to a good thing I want to talk about today. So shout out to you, man. Tua, when people compare Dillon Gabriel and Tua, and they say eventually they figure you out, and once they figure you out, you don't look effective. Tua had 1.5 really good years, and Mike McDaniel was having all this motion. He was doing all these things. He had Tyreek Hill and Waddle. They can really blow the top off the defense. They really opened it up for the run pass, for the run game. He can throw quick outs. He can do mesh routes or having guys running across the field. As soon as you take away the deep ball from Tyreek Hill and you force Tua to make decisions, it's not the same. It doesn't look as good. How does that tie into Dillon Gabriel? People were saying Dillon Gabriel's ceiling is Tua. So if Tua is bad and once they got enough game film on him, he is ineffective, how do you think Dillon Gabriel's going to look? Does Dillon Gabriel look better or worse than he did in his first game in Minnesota? All you got to do is look at it. It's fool's gold. The way I'm viewing the first 4 games from Dillon Gabriel, it's the same way I'm viewing the first 4 games from Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, he had 1 fool's gold game. The fool's gold game for Joe Flacco was versus Cincinnati. It wasn't as good as everybody wanted to make it out to be. And that's the same way with Dillon Gabriel. Then he played himself and showed he wasn't good. That's the same thing Dillon Gabriel's going to do. Tua going to get his coach fired. I totally agree. I've been saying this for a couple weeks. Brian Flores got fired for not believing in Tua. Mike McDaniels is going to get fired for believing in Tua. They got that big contract. They're going to be looking for a new quarterback. All teams got to do is stop Quinshawn because Dillon can't carry the team. Talk to me. Talk to me. You see it. at any moment during that game yesterday, if the Browns would have fell behind, nobody had faith in Dillon Gabriel being able to lead them on scoring drives. You have to do that in the NFL. You have to do it. And it's just not something that they're really good at right now. Not something they're really good at. So let's go to the next show. We got more of this from this morning. This is the usual suspects.
If you think you hated my Shedeur Sanders, take a moment.
Let's get to when Dale Ryder is speaking. This is going to lead us into Myles Garrett. Let's see. Let's find the spot. Kind of reset on me.
Runs yesterday. And I know these teams are game planning to bottle him up.
Or 5 carries because, as you said, Nick Chubb type of player.
Right,
a run was the Wildcat direct snap that.
At this point, when do you think Shedeur are going to get in since they won? I think this buys Dillon Gabriel one more game. So initially, I thought that Shedeur would get in after the bye week. I think this buys Dillon Gabriel one more game. But I think it's fool's gold if you really look at his performance as a quarterback. I think he didn't do anything to help win the game. So initially, I thought after the bye, I think he'll still be playing after the bye. So I thought it would be the Jets game he would get in. I think Dillon Gabriel might be playing the Jets game and Shedeur will get in the week afterwards. Because what happens is people just look at a team's record and they say, oh, you should blow that team out. But the Jets' defense isn't terrible. They can't score points. So if you look at even some of their low-scoring games, other teams aren't really scoring on them. It's they can't score points like that. So that's a big problem. Back-to-back weeks with Tua throwing 3 interceptions, definitely a Tua problem. I agree. And if you look at it, Dillon Gabriel could have some interceptions. I'll say that. Myles has something the fans cannot have, sweat equity. There's a different type of emotion with that. Zedric, you're correct. We're going to get to that. That's the next topic coming up right after this. I just got to find a spot. It kind of reset on me because Daryl was going to say something similar.
I don't know if it was a bad snap or what. Their hands when it doesn't get to him clean. I'm not going to say he's the next Nick Chubb or he's Nick Chubb 2.0, but boy, it's really, really getting difficult not to start to feel that way.
What did you think of Myles' performance?
Okay, he's getting to it now. How is the QB not on the field when the offense scores 2 touchdowns? I still have my mouth on the floor. There you go. You know what? I believe in my quarterback so much that when it comes to the red zone and him not being good, that I'm going to take him off the field. If people want us to believe that this coach actually believes in him, the team believes in him, it's like, come on, man. I hope Dillon be gone soon after this Sunday. Yeah, Ms. Brown, you got tickets to the Jets. So unless Dillon goes out here and throws 3 or 4 picks and the offense look really bad and is the reason why they lose, I think they're going to give him a little bit more leeway. But me, I'm just looking past like these little small victories that they're saying and what they're seeing. I'm looking at like quarterback in isolation, and in isolation so far, I'm not seeing anything from Dillon Gabriel that leads me to believe that he should be the quarterback of this team right now. It's nothing there. So I don't see it.
Performance in his comments after the game, and especially his comments on Friday, all being added into it.
Well, look, I like the fact that he talked the talk on Friday. Nobody was spared. Everybody was catching strays, offense, defense, special teams. And he went out there. He helped back it up. I like what he said after the game. And this is my thing. I really didn't have a problem with what he said on Friday. Now, I can certainly understand the Browns organization might not have been crazy about it. Kevin Stefanski, Jim Schwartz, Tommy Reese probably didn't like the word that Myles Garrett had to say, but the truth is the truth. And look, as somebody who wants players to be honest, I certainly am not going to criticize him for being honest with us. Again, just because the organization didn't like what was said, it doesn't mean I can't appreciate it. And I appreciate Myles Garrett's candor. Really, the only thing he said this season that I disagree with is them losing the same way week in and week out. I don't know that that's necessarily.
So y'all know, I told y'all, how long ago did I tell y'all this? Maybe 3 weeks ago, I said I just show him just to get laughs. Do y'all remember I was playing him and he said the Browns were so bad it didn't matter who the quarterback was? And I said that's a loser's mentality because he's basically saying there's no football reason why you can play better. And I showed him. Now we showing him now. So I just show him it's just fun, and he just leading us into the next segment and story we're going to get to. But Myles Garrett was right. He has blood. He has blood, and he has sweat equity into this. People watching on the sidelines, it is disrespectful how we dismiss greatness like that. After that first drive when Judy threw on that pick play, Kevin said he won't screw me today. That is a fact. He said, not today. Not today. You ain't taking me out the game. I'm not even going to let you attempt it in the red zone. We get to the red zone, get him out of here. That's what he said. So if you are not familiar with what Myles Garrett said on Friday, let's get to it. This is another show from the weekend. They're going to play what Myles Garrett said.
Myles Garrett clearly on everything he said. Michael, can I hear that again, please?
Well, hell, we frustrated too. It's not like they can be any more frustrated than the people who are out there putting their body on the line and not winning. They wear the colors, they come and support us, and we will be forever grateful. But you can never be more frustrated than someone who's actually in that ring or on that field. And hoping that they continue to support us, and we're going to continue to put our bodies on the line and give everything until we can find a way to start winning and winning in succession. But, man, it's tough. It's tough for everybody.
All right, I disagree with Myles.
Now, do y'all agree or disagree with that? The players on the field, the boxer in the ring, they have more, they care more about losing than the people who are watching them and supporting them. That's the question I got. In practice, Joe Pickett, Dillon couldn't score in the red zone. The only one did was Shedeur. Ms. Brown, you are correct. That is true. This has been something that we've seen at this point for 5 months. So we know this was an issue for them. So they just didn't magically be able to now. Yep, it's entitlement to think otherwise. This is a very bad case of main character syndrome. Let me play Earl, and then I'm going to break down why this makes no sense.
And respectfully, I love you, but I disagree with you. You said you understand where the fans' pain come from. I disagree with that because I don't even fully understand where the fans' pain come from. And I'm older than you, and I'm from this city.
Yeah.
So if I don't fully understand it, I don't think that you fully understand it. And I don't think Myles Garrett fully understands it. Myles Garrett is 29 years old. He was born the same year the Cleveland Browns left, okay? He's been here only since 2017. The Cleveland Browns record since 1999 is 142 and...
All right, we're going to stop him there. We already see the angle he's taking on his argument for why he doesn't agree with Myles Garrett. What he is doing is he is eliminating the human element for Myles Garrett and adding the human element for fans. He needs to live more life. So it probably was the second show that Harris Sports tapped in for, and I was like, I have the answers to these situations, and he asked me why, and I said, just live longer. That's how you get the answers. Live longer and pay attention. So you eliminate the human element on Myles Garrett's side. You add the human element on your side of the argument. The issue with this is every human element that he can bring up for a fan in the pursuit of greatness, you could also go through those same things. So if you look at anybody in pursuit of greatness, so because Myles Garrett is not just barely making the team, Myles Garrett is at the highest level of defensive end in the game. He's at the highest level. So this is a different level of pursuit of greatness that he's on. So if you say, oh, people have went to birthday parties and they've done all these things and lived all this life and they haven't seen the Browns win, you are discounting greatness because on your pursuit of greatness, you're going to have to make sacrifices. Go ask any married football player's wife if they don't care more than the actual fans. The players play to win. They want to go to the Super Bowl. That's a fact. Ask any player's children if they don't care about it more than the people on the sidelines. This is a very simple thing where you discount greatness so you don't think about it. You don't think he missed birthdays. You don't think he missed holidays. You don't think he couldn't go on vacation in the summer because he's working out or rehabbing from an injury or having surgeries. You don't think that? You don't think none of the human elements apply to the actual player? It's insane. It's insane. And this is just not living enough life to understand it. That's all that is. Because he's like, oh, well, you had people who've been fans for longer than you've been on the team. Do you know how much he's missed in things happening around him and his family on his pursuit of greatness? This is when you get to the early stages of success in whatever field you in, you almost can try to put yourself on the level of other people who are great. But that's a mistake. When you really get to a certain level of success, you truly understand the sacrifice that other great players or great athletes have went through. If you look at any NBA game, when they invite a soccer star to the game, it's a mutual respect. It's not, I'm better than you in your field. No, it's a mutual respect because they know they are looking somebody in the eye who has sacrificed at least as much as them, if not more than them, to get where they are. And that is the element that's missing when he's making this argument. They have to live with it every single day. They are using winning and losing. They're using the outcome of the game to determine if a person cares or not. That is discounting greatness. That is discounting greatness. And people have got too comfortable discounting greatness when it's right in front of them. If we use the same line of thinking that they're going down, we would have to discount Joe Thomas's greatness because he didn't win a playoff game. When he was talking about he couldn't walk, he told his wife she couldn't talk to him when they would leave games. That is a sacrifice. That is a sacrifice that they are not taking into account when they are trying to make themselves at the same level as players. And I'm going to use a very extreme example, and then I'm going to use a very easy example. The very extreme example is going to be my version of using a sledgehammer to kill a gnat. The very extreme example is this. The extreme version is that's like saying people that went to war care less than the people who are back home that they're protecting. That's the extreme example. I know it's extreme, but I'm just showing how this argument that they're making doesn't make sense. The less extreme example is if you take a boxer, let's look at Terrence Crawford and Canelo. Canelo lost. Does Canelo care less than the fans who were rooting for him? Nobody would ever say that. So it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. These are people who just need to live more life to get a better understanding of what's happening around them so they can see the world through a different lens. You seen the NY Giants game. How did the Broncos score 33 points in the fourth quarter? I was watching that game last night, and when I was looking at that game, the first thing I thought was this might be the end of Brian Daboll. That's what I thought. They mismanaged that end of the game. They mismanaged that end of the game, and their defense should never have let Denver drive up the field like that. Denver had 33 seconds. They had no timeouts, and you let them keep beating you to the outside. You should have gave inside. You should have outside leverage on every receiver and force them to throw the ball in the field of play so they can burn more clock. And you should not have let them run 15-yard outs to get upfield. That was crazy. It was insane. They did throw one play across the middle. The first throw was across the middle, but after that, you had to force them to throw the ball in the field of play so they can burn the clock. That was just ridiculous. That was ridiculous. And that's a 2-5 team. So you got Cleveland media saying the Browns could potentially go to the playoffs at 2-5, and I'm telling y'all that this might be the beginning of the end of Brian Daboll in New York. So two totally different ways 2-5 teams look at it. This is why Shador don't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have time for them. He's catching greatness. Ms. Brown, you get it. It's a sacrifice. It's so easy. Like we have access to so many things that we believe we are on the same level of the people that we cover. And it's just not true. We are not on the same level of the people that we cover. And that's what people want to do. And they want to bump themselves up to a certain level like they're on the same level. No. Respect their sacrifice. Respect the work they put in. Respect the grind. That's what you got to do. Man, Van Streamlabs still got you. Let me see what you had to say. Ms. Brown, exactly. He's super focused on his dream and all that his father has done for him to put him in position of being an NFL player. I totally agree with you there. Totally agree with you there. So this is I saw this brewing. This is a weekend show. I saw this within the first 10 seconds of me listening to Earl's response, I immediately knew I disagreed, and I knew the reasons why. It was discounting greatness. You cannot discount greatness. You can't discount greatness. If we were talking about the margin or a fringe player on and off the team or something like that, I would listen to you. I still would disagree, but I would at least listen. When you were talking about the top of the top player who everybody's already writing in as the Hall of Fame, there's no way you can discount that greatness. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Let's get to Myles Garrett. Beast kind of mentioned this earlier. Let's get to Myles Garrett after the game.
Things that you said and really kind of hold together?
Yeah, I mean, rallied and we we got to win in a fashion which we can appreciate, but that's not enough, and we got to continue to do that. One win is one thing, but we've got to turn this into a habit, an addiction. It's got to be an obsession to win and win like this, and so we got to keep on chasing that feeling.
Man, I don't know what it is, man. The bot just be coming for you. You tried to play nice with the bot early. That's the ups and downs to AI. That's what it is. You see, Myles Garrett is not satisfied. Myles Garrett is not ready to throw a parade. They expect to win because they know what they put in. So he is looking forward to the next game and winning and stringing some wins together. That's what he's saying. He's not celebrating this like, we all straight, we good. No, we got to do this more often. This leads me, I have one, I forgot this clip. This is from the weekend that I got to add. This is going to be Donovan McNabb. So let's add this in.
You want to go young.
So I don't know if y'all saw this. This from a couple days ago. Donovan McNabb is going to start speaking on Dillon Gabriel, the Cleveland Browns, and these people who played in the NFL, sometimes they don't do any research on the topics that they're going to be asked about. And they couldn't be more wrong when they get up here and speak. That is going to be the case right here with Donovan McNabb. So let's listen to it.
And so for the Cleveland Browns, the problem with the Cleveland Browns, and Mike Tomlin didn't say it, is they're listening to the fan crowd. And when the fans are crying and they're asking for Shador and, all of a sudden, I feel bad for Dillon Gabriel, to be honest with you. Dillon Gabriel was a third-round draft pick that was solid. He played well everywhere he's been in college.
Now, let's stop him right there with the first thing he said. The problem with the Cleveland Browns and Mike Tomlin not saying this is they're listening to the fans. So, everybody, y'all know how I feel about Shador. I know how y'all feel about Shador. If the Browns was listening to us, do you think Shador wouldn't be playing yet? It's just a question. I just got to ask the questions. If the Browns were listening to the fans, would Shador be playing right now? That's the question. I know he has the name. I know he has success in NFL, but it's crazy to believe that they would listen to the fans because Shador would be playing. Shador would have started the season as the #1 quarterback. So this makes no sense. This is where I would never say I know more football than them. I would say in these situations, we understand the circumstances better than them because what he's saying makes no sense. It makes no sense. Shador would have been playing if it was up to the fans. So this is off base. This is off base. This is when a person is going in and they have to figure out how to get to the real point of what they want to say. They have to get to it. So instead of him going based on what's happening, he has to figure out a way to get in that I really believe in Dillon Gabriel. Oh, yeah, I did see that. I did see that pick, Beast. I did see that. And Harris, you're correct. He would have started game 1. I did see that. I heard somebody saying that was his grandkids that had on the Shador jersey. So, hey, your family can influence how you view situations. I'm just going to say that. Your family can influence it. Let's see what else he got to say.
And we tend to forget that he's a winner. He's efficient. He's accurate. He has mobility. And he may not be 6'3", 6'4", whatever, but he makes it happen. And so it's funny how people are preying on his downfall just to get Shador, and this is the best thing for Shador.
We're going to stop him here. Yeah, he's just talking out the side of his neck. He's talking everything he's saying is an L. So we've seen Dillon Gabriel for 3 games. Does anybody here believe Dillon Gabriel is an accurate quarterback? The lie detector test determined that was a lie. Nobody's saying that. A mobile quarterback. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. He's not mobile. They sold us on him being mobile. He can't move that much better than Joe Flacco. So I don't know what he is talking about. He clearly has not watched any games of Dillon Gabriel. He came in with the say that Shedeur is not ready. That's his whole agenda is that. There you go, Harris. We gonna get to it. Y'all see it. Y'all like it makes no sense on what he's saying. He's a winner. He is talking about college. Nothing he is saying is talking about the NFL and what is happening right now. That's where these guys get it wrong. That's where they get it wrong. His 3 points he just made was all wrong. And then let's see what he says. Let's see what else he got to say.
In Cleveland, to be able to sit and learn and see it from the sideline, because this ain't college. This ain't college where you come in your freshman year and all of a sudden you have just a like kind of below average year and then you're coming back that next year. No, if you have a below average year when you're in there, they're going to look to put somebody else in there or draft another guy.
So, Mr. McNabb, since you believe Dillon Gabriel's a winner, if you look at what Dillon Gabriel did in these 3 games, would you say he is average, above average, or below average? Because based on your own words, if you are below average, they're going to look to get somebody else in there. Once people start talking, you realize they don't know what they're talking about. There you go. Harris, you right there with me. You are right there with me. Dillon Gabriel is the one that's below average. He is not watching the games. He came in to what these you can see right through these people. What they want to do is they want to tell people you shouldn't believe in Shedeur and you don't know what you're talking about when you say Shedeur is better than Dillon Gabriel. The problem is, no matter what we all get up here and say, eventually they have to go on the field and play the games. And then we'll just go based on them playing the games. And we're looking at the games that Dillon Gabriel has played. He has not been good. That's just it. It's just a fact. Those are the facts. He is not lifting the team up. So everything Donovan McNabb is saying, he sounds like the fan. He sounds like the one who doesn't know what he's talking about, not the other way around. I have seen so many Shedeur Sanders fans say, put Dillon Gabriel out there, let him show what he is so we can get past this, so then we can get Shedeur out there once they realize he's not the guy. DG has tape, and we know he's not it. Who doesn't have tape in the NFL? Sanders. That is a fact. That is a fact. A lot of people are saying, oh, we know what Shedeur is. How do you know what Shedeur is? When you haven't seen him in the NFL game, you saw him in the preseason, and y'all act like he only played 1 preseason game, not 2. So how do you know what he is in the NFL? McNabb used to be one of my favorite QBs. You can tell when someone is just talking to talk. That is a fact. Look at Arch Manning. If he didn't have his last name, he would be a backup. I totally agree. Very early in the year, I took offense to how they were rating Arch Manning, and they were doing it based off his name right after they had just crushed Shedeur and said he was only getting all these views and attention because of his name. I took offense to that. I said it around draft time. I said, the truth is going to come to the light. If they treat Arch different than they treat Shedeur, we're going to know what it is. And so I started watching Arch Manning from game 1. And from game 1, I said he was not the guy. From game 1, I said Arch was not the guy. So these people, they just get out here and talk, and they bring up Shedeur just to bring up Shedeur. I totally agree. They just need a Shedeur soundbite. They need to say it in there. This is all pointless and irrelevant stuff he's saying because most of it is not factually correct based on the football that's been played on the field. So, hey, respecting him for being in the NFL. The problem is when you are giving analysis, that's where these guys are the worst. The worst. He came in, his agenda was to defend Dillon Gabriel. You see, they're saying you can't grade Sellers because he's behind a bad line and double standards. That's a fact. Lenore Sellers, I've been saying it for a couple of weeks. I'm saying it's not it. He needs to go back to school. I remember people argue with me because I'm the person, as soon as I feel that way, I'll say how I feel about a situation. And because I say it so early, people think that I'm just saying it to say it, not that I've done any research to determine why I say it. So it's crazy. Let me get you. Dillon played at Oregon for 1 year. The team was already stacked. He played with no adversity. He cannot improvise. He will fail in the NFL. Latanya, you are correct. You are correct. Did you see him versus Kentucky? I did. If you notice, every week Arch Manning is getting worse and worse. Do you remember they argued and said, Arch will be fine. Arch will be fine. Arch will be fine. He's not fine. His fundamentals are terrible. That's the reason why his accuracy is so bad, because his feet are not set. He doesn't know where he's going. He's all over the place. That's why he's not looking better. He's looking worse. Every game is getting worse for Arch Manning. Donovan McNabb should know better. He played the position. This is that we should be fair, but they don't have to be. That is a fact. That's a fact. All of a sudden, QBs can't be graded behind bad lines. Interesting. Zedric, you were here, so you remember this. Do you remember when I spent that time going down all of the offensive lines, determine who had injuries, who didn't have injuries? I was doing that because I saw that was going to be the thing that they blamed. I'm like, oh, they're going to bail out. They're going to blame the offensive line because they think that nobody can look up who has a healthy offensive line, who has an injured offensive line. Nope, we're not falling for it. Kyler, what's good? Kyler, your boy bounced back. Your boy bounced back in a major way. I'm going to get to him more tomorrow, but he bounced back in a major way, was having a great game. I don't know why they had him in the game late. You're up 40-something points. They got 3. You got him still throwing the ball. I don't get that. But I'm going to get to that tomorrow, Tyler, Dante Moore. Wait. Are we going to get into Flacco on the Bengals? Hey, we can get to it. Cincinnati got the worst line in the NFL. Joe put up 350 and 3 TDs. We can get to it. We can get to it because I didn't have a show in between that game and today. We can get to it. That game was all about scheme. So whenever I'm talking about scheme and I'm calling out Kevin Stefanski, that Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh Steelers game was all about scheme. They got the Pittsburgh defense off balance. They put every single cover corner they had on Jamar Chase. It didn't matter. Also, they said, we're just going to keep giving him the ball. You play off, we're just going to throw him the ball right away and let him make a play. We're going to make it easy for him. We're going to get him his targets. It was all scheme. They did not let their defensive line take over the game. Facts. No interceptions. It's a fact. Yep, when greatness is expected out of you, you don't get graded on a curve. That's a fact. That is a fact. That game, it showed that you have to understand defenses. You have to understand tendencies. You got to watch film. When they got to, I believe it was 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, and they went into too high, and they were in they doubled Chase and they doubled Higgins, and they sent number 80 on, they sent them on a go route straight up the middle, 1-on-1, and Joe Flacco dropped it in the bucket over the shoulder for that deep pass. That's what you got to be able to do. You got to be able to read the defense, have the answers. So do y'all remember I was saying, does Kevin Stefanski have the answers? These are examples of people having the answers. Zach Taylor and that offensive staff said, we're not going to allow Pittsburgh to wreck this game. Pittsburgh defense was not able to wreck the game. TJ Watt was not able to wreck the game with the worst offensive line. That is where scheme comes into play. That's where scheme comes in. Flacco also had Chase. Who cares about the line? Kyler, that's dismissing the scheme. That's dismissing the scheme. That's easy. That's easy. Let's do this. Let's look at what Mac Jones is doing for San Francisco with basically all their receivers out until they just got Kittle back and McCaffrey. Their offensive line been banged up. Guys been hurt. Defense been banged up. Scheme is making Mac Jones look better than he ever did in Jacksonville or for the Patriots. That's the scheme. They have a quarterback-friendly scheme because what people want to do is people want to isolate one thing. If you look at Joe Flacco and that offensive line that they had, was that the same offensive line that Jake Browning was playing behind and he was throwing all those interceptions, or did the offensive line change? That was more of a shot at the Browns. All right, got it. I was going to say because they got a terrible offensive line. It's a scheme. I got you. We on the same page now. Because I was about to go and say, nah, scheme is how you make up for your deficiencies in the NFL. It's how you make up for your deficiencies in college football. The scheme has to be good, and the scheme is what gets you to the next level. We saw Kevin Stefanski make a schematic change yesterday. Do you want to know what the change was? When we get in the red zone, we got to score touchdowns. We have to take Dillon Gabriel out the game. That was a scheme change to make sure that we can get points. We're not even going to waste time with snapping him the ball for him to hand it off. We're just going to snap it to the person who we trust the most. That was a scheme change. Flacco was throwing with confidence and anticipating where Chase would be. I agree. Totally was. Kevin Stefanski is limiting his quarterbacks. He is calling the game afraid, and he is afraid of them making a mistake. You think the Steelers went into the game saying we're going to let Chase be open every time? Nope. The Steelers tried everything they could do. They tried man-to-man. They tried zone coverage. They tried zone blitzing. They tried everything they could. They tried everything they could try to stop that. They threw everything at them, and it didn't work. It didn't work because they schemed it open. When Joe Flacco went up to the line and they were playing off of Jamar Chase 10 yards, and he just threw it to Jamar Chase at the line of scrimmage where Jamar Chase bobbled the ball, spin move on the first guy, and got like 7 yards. That is them having the freedom to just go based on what they're seeing. That is a scheme thing. A scheme has to be flexible enough to allow you to take what the defense is giving you versus you just having to run plays. Kevin Stefanski's scheme doesn't allow the quarterbacks to change things based on what they see. Jerry Jeudy, if they put him in a slot and they see a safety is over top of Jerry Jeudy, why are we not throwing those quick passes to Jerry Jeudy the same way? What Kevin Stefanski would do is have Jerry Jeudy run a route instead of just throwing him the ball quick. Zedric, you called it out yesterday. They threw a wide receiver screen for the first time this whole year to Jerry Jeudy. The first time this whole year. So scheme makes a very big difference, and that is how you neutralize a bad offensive line. You throw the ball faster. I believe Joe Flacco got the ball out in 2.29 seconds. So it don't matter. TJ Watt can't get there that fast. So scheme makes the difference. Makes a difference. We got enough of Donovan McNabb. Let's get to the next clip I got for y'all. Because Jeudy can't catch the ball. I think Jeudy is going to drop the ball, but I think he's going to catch the ball 85 to 90% of the time. That means if I throw him the ball 10 times, I give him 10 targets that are on target, that are catchable, he can get about 7 or 8 of them. I'll take it. Jamar Chase drop passes too. He just catch it. They keep feeding him. They don't let that deter you. You will let a guy get in his own head if they drop a pass and then you stop throwing it to him. Look at Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest. That's my favorite receiver of all time. Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest. Do y'all remember that Jerry Rice started out his career? He had a stigma around him dropping passes. He attributed him dropping passes to him overthinking the game. And he was saying basically Bill Walsh's playbook had too many plays in it and he was thinking too much. And that caused him to drop passes. And he was like, once he understood the playbook, he wasn't dropping passes no more. So some of it can be talent. Some of it could be overthinking it. Some of it could be you're in your own head. I think some of it is Jerry Jeudy can be in his own head, and that can cause him to drop passes. The feature receiver seems to be fanning right now. Kevin Stefanski's offense is more tailored for tight ends to have success. And it's been that way for a very long time, ever since he was in Minnesota. Rizzo, I don't show Riz that often on the show, but he said something that was very interesting this morning. So let's get to Rizzo.
When they're going to give him a chance. And by that, I mean they have to tell him he's starting on Monday. Like, it's not going to happen anytime soon. I get it. But you got the Patriots, then the bye week. Do you know what I was told? I got to say this. Chris, I've got to say this. I was told by two different sources yesterday at the stadium. Huntington Bankfield. I was told by two different sources. One said Shedeur, Chris, will start the last 4 games of the season no matter what. Unless the Browns win every game through the Titans week, Shedeur will play the Bears, Bills, Steelers, and Bengals. They want to see what he's got. Another person said he could be in play earlier than that.
It all depends on the wins and losses.
Okay, but this notion that you're not going to see Shedeur, throw that out the window. You're going to see Shedeur Sanders play this year. Mark my words.
I played that. I thought that was very interesting. I played that because if y'all remember, Rizzo was the first one who said Dillon Gabriel is going to be named the starter. He said it before everybody else. And people, they kind of didn't really pay attention to it that much. They just like, oh, he's going to be the starter. But Rizzo was the first one. Let me get my light adjusted here. That's a little bit better. So Rizzo was the first one who said that. So I think he has some insider. He got some insiders who are giving us some good information. Some good information. So for everybody who thinks we're not going to see Shedeur, we're going to see Shedeur. The part that people are going to overlook when he said that was if we don't win all these games leading up to it. That's the variable. It was a huge tight end weekend for college football. There was like 14 TDs by tight ends in NCAA football. Man, do y'all know a tight end who watched the Oregon game? Their tight end, I think his number is 18, Sadiq. That dude is overly cocky. I think he had 2 touchdowns in the game. I was watching him, and I was like, man, he is going to be a menace if they use him correctly when he makes it to the NFL. At least 4 games, so this will depend on how Gabriel does these next few games. I agree. So Shedeur going to get his time. Kyler, I know you watched it. Man, Sadiq is something else. I haven't seen tight ends that cocky. Like, he is super cocky. When I first saw him, I didn't know what position he played. I couldn't tell if he was a running back that they were putting at tight end or what, but he is super cocky. I think he is going to be a problem. I'm not sure how good he can block, but just his athleticism, his strength, you can see it. So definitely one of the tight ends that caught my eye. Also, not a tight end, but Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate for Ohio State this weekend, balling out. If they're going to keep leaning the defense toward Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate is working his way into being a top 20 pick. A top 20 pick. So Carnell Tate has been balling. I'm liking what I'm seeing. So we're going to get Shedeur. We're going to see Shedeur. Shedeur is going to be here. Y'all know I'm always looking ahead. And I've been showing y'all little tidbits of how they talk about coaches and how and what I want to see in the next coach for the Browns. Because this win doesn't change anything for me. I'm still looking at it like I want the Browns to, start over. So I got to show y'all something. Let's switch this over. As we moving along through the show, that's Myles Garrett. Take this one down. So this is let me get this better. This is gonna be Mike Vrabel. This is in the locker room. This is how you want guys to talk about their coach, especially when their coach is going through something. Let's get to Mike Vrabel. I think it's gonna be around this point here. Mike Vrabel's gonna talk, and then Drake May is gonna talk. And I want y'all to see how they respond to this coach after a win. The Patriots beat the Tennessee Titans. If y'all don't know, Mike Vrabel used to be the head coach of Tennessee. They fired him 2 years ago. Tennessee is in turmoil. The owners, they all over the place. Everybody talks about Jimmy Haslam. The owners in Tennessee are way worse. So Mike Vrabel, he is in New England. They're winning. They're 5-2. Let's get to it.
coach, and all Tennessee coaches. Coach Vrabel, we love playing for you. Appreciate it. Glad you're our head coach, and we love you, coach.
They went and won that game for him because Tennessee said he wasn't good enough. Tennessee fired him. They won that game for him. This is a leader of men. This is CEO, head coach. This is somebody who has the respect. And that's the type of coach I want the Browns to look for, because I don't think Kevin Stefanski is the guy, and being 2-5 doesn't change that for me. So I know we have new Browns fans. So sometimes we got to just rewind this thing back. And we got to take it back and show y'all how stuff used to be. So this is when the Cleveland Browns first hired Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. I'm going to show y'all how they were viewed. I'm going to show y'all this boogeyman. So do y'all, if you watch Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, you always hear them talk about Podesta. Y'all don't even know what he looked like. Y'all don't know what he do or nothing. We're going to show you. The Browns used to do something called Building the Browns. They would start this in the offseason, and every offseason it would go through the draft. They would show their processes and all of those things. So we're taking it back to 2020. We're going back 5 years, y'all. We're taking it back. This is Building the Browns. This is episode 1 from the 2020 year.
Are the Browns any closer, or are they farther away from being Super Bowl champions one day?
Closer. They hired Brains. He was involved in building up the Browns war chest. The reason the Browns got these star players all of a sudden is because Andrew Berry and Podesta and these guys built up draft picks in this huge stash of this huge cache of resources.
All right, gang. We ready to roll? We ready to roll? We ready to roll? I'm ready to roll. Let's go.
So 5 years ago, when they hired this duo, this is Kevin Stefanski was just hired. They announced it. This is when they're announcing that they hired Andrew Berry. 5 years later, we're from the future. Are they any closer to a Super Bowl today than they were in 2020? That's the question. Are the Cleveland Browns any closer to a Super Bowl today than they were in 2020? That's the question. Van, I'm right there with you. When he's speaking, they just kind of look at him. I showed that a couple of weeks ago when the Browns won. Podesta lives rent-free in Jay's head. That's a fact. He's always talking about Podesta. Nobody even know what Podesta look like. Nobody know what he does. Nobody knows his title. He is always talking about Podesta. So this is where the Browns were 5 years ago. The Browns are no closer. I would say talent-wise, cap-wise, and all those things, I would say the Browns are in a worse position than they were 5 years ago.
It's our very distinct privilege to introduce the new GM of the Cleveland Browns, the youngest GM.
Meetings to go through all the players who will be in Indianapolis, everything from background information, what we learned during the All.
That's a fact. We've only been to the playoffs 3 times, 3 playoff games since '99. That's a fact. So I'm guessing you agree with me and say we are no closer than where we were before. I want to show y'all. I got to find a spot. I'm going to show y'all who the boogeyman is. Podesta.
Season, what the scouts saw during the fall. It's Indianapolis. It's a credit to the personnel staff, the support.
Actually, I think I might have to rewind it back to show y'all Podesta. They're going to show him talking. So I want y'all to see who he is. And then we're going to show y'all somebody who the Browns were looking at in the draft. Where's Podesta talking at? Here we go. This is who Jay is always talking about.
Each candidate is plenty. It's really not. It's really not a lot, which is why we end up doing a lot of work outside.
This is Podesta right here. This is the ghost. This is who they blame when they don't know who to blame, when they can't understand the football reason why the Browns are struggling. This is who they blame. Podesta. This is the boogeyman that they blame for all the turmoil, even though sometimes it's football related reasons why the Browns struggle. So here we go.
Of the interview. Like I said, this time, since we already had that 6 or 7 hours a year ago, we got to use even more.
So that was Podesta. I want to show y'all something that's going. The Browns need wide receivers. The Browns need wide receivers bad. I want to show y'all somebody who the Browns interviewed.
We're ready for anything.
And did not take. And surprisingly enough, this person had a great game yesterday. Coming back from injury.
So this is our formal interview suite. We have 45 players coming through here throughout the course of the week.
People come in.
Good morning, Marie. Marie, your squad got the big win yesterday. 44 points they put up against Washington. Your squad got the big win. Not the boogeyman. It's the boogeyman right here. It's the boogeyman. So who is this man? What does he do? He is the chief strategy officer. So he helped them determine who they were going to hire when they were going through this search to rebuild the Browns. So he seems to be around, but nobody really knows what he does. Because if you're staff, they don't have to put exactly what you do. We can't go to his LinkedIn and see what his job description is. For him, it's just he's that guy that's just out there. He's just floating in the air. He the boogeyman. That's the only thing I can say about him. We don't know what he does.
And with different levels of preparation, it's kind of like every job interview.
So this is going to be hard for y'all to see, but I wanted to stop it here. This player that the Browns are speaking to, this is the 2020 draft. This is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb had a great game yesterday coming back from injury. I believe he had about 5 catches, 116 yards, somewhere in that realm. Don't quote me to the exact, but he had over 100 yards. Yep, your Cowboys, they're balling out yesterday. The Browns had a chance. Now, do y'all know who the Cleveland Browns drafted with their first-round pick in the 2020 draft? I'm going to ask y'all the question and see if y'all know, so then we're going to break it down and talk about it. The question is, who did the Cleveland Browns take with their first-round pick in the 2020 draft? I'm going to give y'all a second because I know it's on the delay. I'm not going to speed it forward. Let's see if we get any responses. And then if we don't get none for a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all who it is. The Browns selected Anthony Schwartz was a 3rd-round pick. In the 2020 draft, the first pick that the Browns selected was right tackle from the University of Alabama, Jedrick Wills. Jedrick Wills is who they selected. They selected Jedrick Wills from the University of Alabama, right tackle. They moved him to left tackle. Now, remember, this 2020. It's 2020. I think you might be thinking about 2019 when they traded their pick for Odell. But in 2020, it was Jedrick Wills. They missed on guys like Tristan Wirfs, who went a couple guys after him. They missed on guys like Justin Jefferson. They missed on guys like CeeDee Lamb. They missed on staples for guys who, unfortunately, Jedrick Wills is sitting out this year due to injury. Their first round draft pick that this new organization put together, new collective, I should say, is not on the team, is not in the NFL 5 years later. Do you know who the Browns selected in 2021 with their first round draft pick? Let's see if y'all know about these good old Browns. 2021, the Cleveland Browns selected in the first round. Let's give a second to see if any come through. The Browns took Greg Newsome. The Browns traded Greg Newsome to the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. I do remember when CD was picked by the Cowboys, Jerry Jones' grandson told him to pick him when they were in the war room. Jerry Jones listened to the right people. I'm starting to think it's certain personality types they don't care for. Zedrick, you were on to something. Latanya, you got it. Greg Newsome, that is correct. So the first 2 first-round draft picks that were selected by this collective are not on the Cleveland Browns 5 years later. So before everybody gets to the Deshaun Watson trade, all the draft picks, the first 2 that they selected aren't on the team. They are not signing second contracts with the Browns. That is an issue. That's a big issue. Let's go. Let's see where else do we need to go for this. I think in episode 2, they're going to show when they actually call. Let me see. Episode 2. Let's see if it pops up down here. All right, I'm not going to dig for it. The Newsome trade is aging well, though. So far, so good. But just as a team that was that close, where they had Super Bowl aspirations that they were talking about nationally, first round picks not being on the team is not a good thing. Now, this year is good for the Browns. This year it is because they traded him, but just your first two, your big decisions you made, them not being on the team does not bode well for the construction of the team. So every once in a while, people will get excited. They'll get overly excited. We heard them saying Browns could potentially make the playoffs at 2-5. It's crazy. They jumping way ahead of it. I said it yesterday. I'm saying it again today. I still feel the same way about the Browns. They need to start over. And I'm going to do the thing that other people aren't willing to do. Travis got his first CD yesterday. I did see that. They are not handling Travis Hunter correctly. I've been saying that for weeks. You just throw it up to him. He'll catch it. Also, they don't need to make him a regular wide receiver. I think he should play every down as a DB because they need the help. And I also think that he should be in on 30 snaps on offense. That's what I would do. Because otherwise there's no reason for them to give up what they gave up for Travis just to make him a receiver. I meant to ask this a while ago. Who's the last drafted QB by the Browns who got a second contract? Let's see if I can do this off the top of my head. Dang. Let's go backwards. They don't have the money. Yeah, let's go backwards. Let's do this. The last QBs, of course, we know the ones they took this year. The last QB they took before that was DTR. DTR did not get a second contract. Before DTR, did we take any quarterbacks in between there? Let's think. Any quarterbacks between Baker? None of those made a second contract because we signed bets behind Baker. Baker didn't get a second contract. Dang, Colt McCoy, you got to go back that far? Wow. Yeah, because I was just gonna go backwards and see like if I can remember one they got a second contract. So, man, all the way back to Colt McCoy. It would have took me a while to get to him. It would have took me a while. Yeah, that is. Whew. You know, sometimes when you hear or see something and say it out loud, it sounds crazy. Bernie, I don't know if Bernie got a second contract because did Bernie get a second contract? Didn't they? Because they released Bernie when he got into it, when he was calling the plays and Bill Belichick was mad. We couldn't have given a second contract because we've had 44 QBs since 99. Yeah, it's not sounding like that much. Let me double check. Let's see. Let's see. My bad for the silence. I was looking this up. Yeah, it'll take more digging. I'll have an answer for y'all tomorrow. I'll tell y'all the last quarterback. I'll tell y'all the answer tomorrow. I had an answer for y'all. All right, so I went back to show y'all this for a reason because I still feel the same way about the Browns. I'm gonna do the next step is when people say who would. I appreciate that. Marie. I am trying. I'm taking all of y'all advice. One thing I want to say, let me say this about yesterday. Yesterday was a really good live stream, but I need to change to subscribers only mode. So going into Sundays, I'm going to make sure I preset it to subscribers only mode so we don't get as many people coming in trolling and trying to, throw it off and stuff like that. And then also I have my chat set where I only see the top people who always are commenting. So it was like, I think Miss Brown was saying, man, get rid of the trolls, but I wasn't seeing them because I have mine set to top chat for the people who chat the most. So I wasn't even seeing the trolls, which is crazy. But I definitely appreciate that, Marie. You always are very supportive. I definitely appreciate it. We are definitely moving up. I think I gained 120 subscribers yesterday. So yesterday was definitely a great day. My most viewed live stream, 23K views yesterday. So yesterday was a really, really good day. I'm going to do the next step. Zedric hit me up at the end of this weekend and was like, hey, what's up with the Browns? What you thinking? And I said, we're going to rebuild the Browns. We're going to rebuild the Browns. So I had to take it back to show y'all the Browns are nowhere closer to where they wanted to be. The winning record isn't there. The draft history isn't there. So instead of me just saying, get rid of everybody, I know the first question is going to be, who would you replace them with? So you know what I did? I said, I'm going to do the work. Let's go to it. Made a little quick graphic for y'all. So this is the current Browns organizational chart. GM is Andrew Berry. Everybody knows. Kevin Stefanski, head coach. The DC is Jim Schwartz. Tommy Reese is the OC. And the special teams coordinator is Bubba Ventrone. That is who the Browns currently have in place. Now, just looking at this, these are the 5 key positions that we're going to be taking a look at. Out of these 5, is there anybody on this list who y'all would like to keep on the team? Anybody? Yep. Yeah, I had to switch it up. Had to make sure I said it right. So for Sunday's stream, for today's stream, they got to be subscribed for 5 minutes to comment. On Sundays, I'm going to make it 10 minutes just to limit the trolls. So, you know, they don't throw off the interaction that we had. Baker did get signed to a second contract, but got traded after. Yeah, I can't remember if, I think they picked up the 5th year option for Baker. I got to go back. So, and instead of me just kind of rambling and being wrong, I'll look at it. I'll definitely have an answer for y'all tomorrow. If Shador go out there and ball out, they need to build around him. I agree with that. Marie says Schwartz needs to stay. Zedric says Schwartz, maybe Reese. Don't know yet. Don't know what you got yet. Hey, I agree with y'all. I agree with y'all. So this is what I did. I think y'all are on the same page as me. Let me show y'all how I would do it. Let's get to the next one. This is what I would do. And I'm going to give you a background on some of these guys because some of these guys, y'all might not know who they are. You might know who they are. GM, I got 2 options because there's no guarantee you're going to get the one that you want. The top GM is Mike Greenberg. He has been with 4 years, $112 million. Got you. Okay. Dang, he got that from the Browns? Okay. Yeah, Kyler, hey, you might be right. I just couldn't remember offhand, so you might be right. Mike Greenberg is the GM. He's he's part of the collective of teams of the GM in Tampa. I believe his official title is assistant GM, but he's part of their front office. Now, their front office has been in place. He was with them. He was part of them getting Tom Brady. He was part of them re-signing all their pivotal draft picks. So I really like the idea of getting somebody from Tampa. Backup is John Ferrari. He is from Philadelphia. So if you look at teams that have really put good teams together, Tampa and Philly have consistently fielded good teams. Because when you're looking at roster construction, that's what you want to see. You definitely want to see roster construction. So those are my options for GM. So instead of me just telling y'all fire everybody, I'm giving y'all some answers on what I would do with it. Those are the 2 people I will replace Andrew Berry with. One has a lot more expertise in the contract signing, and also when Tampa Bay's salary cap was facing issues, Mike Greenberg was part of the reason why they were able to turn it around with how they signed players and how they did the contracts. Tampa has reversed the bad juju they had since Brady been there, maybe the most consistent period in their history. You're on to something. GM Barry, so you want to stay with Barry. Head coach James Franklin, DC Swartz, offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien. I'm gonna disagree with you, Kyler, on the GM. James Franklin, I'm not totally against that. Swartz, I'm with that. Offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien, I'm actually with that. I like Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator. I don't like him as a team president or as a head coach, but him as OC, I like that. Let's get it back up here. Y'all know I always talk about Brian Flores. I talk about him so much. Got deep respect for him. Brian Flores is a leader of men. I believe he could be a CEO head coach. I also believe he can lend some of his expertise to add some exotic blitzes to what Jim Swartz already does. That is what I would do at head coach. Bill and Deshaun got beef, don't they? I think they more so had beef based on what he did as the team president by trading all the good players away. No guarantee Deshaun stays, though. I agree with that. Offensive coordinator. This going to surprise y'all. And I picked this picture on purpose. Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels, he runs the West Coast offense. Now, this is what I want from my OC. I want my OC to run the West Coast offense, and I want his running game to be zone read. Zone read. That's what I want for our offense. Offensive run base. I want them to run zone plays where the running back is reading the defense, and they have 4 places they can take it on any run play call that they call, which highlights running back's vision. So that's what I want to do for OC, Mike McDaniels, West Coast base. If we can't get Mike McDaniels, I would also take Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is currently the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears. He paired up with the GM there. They got a good relationship. So I'm giving y'all multiple options, but you see the foundation that I want. West Coast foundation. I've really been digging into the West Coast offense. West Coast offense is where you get the ball out quickly and you can target, you can attack linebackers, you can attack weak cornerbacks. You can replace the short pass for a run. This is the system that was created by Bill Walsh. He's going down as one of my favorite coaches ever as I learn more about him. So I definitely want to go West Coast. West Coast inspired. For sure. So this is the team I'll put together. Special teams coordinator. Our special teams look good yesterday. Bubba Ventrone hasn't lived up to the hype. Bubba Ventrone, when the Cleveland Browns signed him, we signed Bubba Ventrone and we made him associate head coach so we can get him away from Indianapolis Colts. The special teams have not lived up to it. So for special teams coordinator, I want Tim Horton. Tim Horton is the special teams coordinator of the Air Force. They're very disciplined. He has some of the top special teams every single year. If we couldn't get him, I would take the special teams coordinator from Alabama. So that is me building it out, and then I'm going to get to your comment. This is how I would rebuild the Browns. Yeah, that's why I say, I can't argue with James Franklin. I understand why that would be a pick, but this is how I would build it out. That's how I build it out. Now let's get to the comments. You have to have a blazing fast wide receiver in the slot for West Coast. I totally agree. I want the Browns in this draft. I want them to draft at least 2 offensive linemen and at least 2 receivers. Preferably, I want one of the receivers in the first round, and I want the second one in the second round. I want early draft picks on the offensive line and the wide receiver room. Early. I don't want to try to do the project later on. No, I want them to spend the capital. I want them to find a good tackle. I want them to find the fast wide receivers. Offense in the NFL works when you have speed. You need speed at the wide receiver position. You need it. So complete culture shift. You see it. It's going to be accountability. It's going to be people who have a track record. If you notice, I didn't really pick anybody to have question marks with them just doing the job that I want them to do. Mike McDaniel has question marks as a head coach. He doesn't really have the question marks as an OC. And the way you can bear that out is you can see how Tua is. Tua is bringing their offense down. They easily look like the worst team in the NFL yesterday. So that is how I would change the culture. So y'all know I'm always the one. I'm the one that's telling you this stuff early, and I'm putting it out there before anybody else, because once I have an idea, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not going to do like people do and say, get rid of everybody with no answers. I'm going to give you answers that I'm going to attach my name to. So that's the difference between me and other people, and I think that's what people enjoy about me, but that's how I would build the team out. That's what I would do. And I feel this way regardless of us winning this last game, because 2-5 doesn't cut it. 2-5 doesn't cut it. So that's what I would do to build the team out. What do y'all think? Any changes that y'all would make? Anybody y'all disagree with? Anybody y'all look at and say, hey, I don't want a Mike McDaniels. I don't want an Eric Bieniemy. I want a different OC. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if y'all would do some things differently. So that's how I will build it out. That's how I'll put it together. Let's see. I think it might be one more thing I want to get to. Let's see. Let me double check with y'all real quick. Let's go here. Do the Browns seem to have a harder time finding diamonds in the rough with late round picks? Yes. 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 If we looked at who the Browns have selected late in the draft that have actually turned out to be something since this regime has been in place, I would probably start at the third round. So I would say past the third round, we've gotten, I think Alex Wright, we might have got him in the third or fourth round. He's balling out. We got Martin Emerson. Unfortunately, he is tore his Achilles, but he was balling. We got DeJuan Jones, I believe, in the fourth round. Let's go through it. Not counting this draft, so drafts before this one. I'm trying to think, is there anybody else who's a late round pick that actually worked? I think that might be it. I think it might be those guys I just named. Let me double check. Make sure I don't get it wrong, but I think that's it. Watch Dillon Gabriel post-game press conference. It's funny you said that. I had it on the list, and I actually took it down, but we can get to it. We can get to it. Here we go. I think his press conference was telling. Let me get to it. He kind of looked like Zombie-esque to me. He definitely didn't look excited. Let me check one thing, and then I'm gonna pull that up, Beast. I just want to go through this real quick to make sure I'm not missing anybody late round picks. Oh man, dang! When you actually look at it, Jerome Ford is still on the team from 2022. 2023, Isaiah McGuire, he's playing pretty good. Miles Harden is on the team. Yes, I would say just not that much success. So Zedric, not that much success on late round draft picks. A lot of them prior to 2023 or 2022 and 2023, not even on the team. Let's get to this Dillon Gabriel press conference. It's funny you bring this up, Beast. I had this on the list, and then I kind of switched off of it late. I got it right here.
Team that with all the things swirling around, and you guys at 1-5 to pull together and come out and put together a performance like this today.
You know, I don't know if anything was swirling around, but you know, just on our end, I think just continuing to fight, continuing to claw and scratch to be a good football team. You know, and we know that it's little plays here and there that adds up. But the attention to detail has to be at all-time high, and we understand that. But it does feel good to see the defense do what they do. You know, our run game continue to take strides in that way, and then just special teams making plays as well. We always talk about complementary football, but seeing us all come together is important and good to see.
How bad were the conditions out there?
Don't even know about it, honestly. Didn't pay no mind. But no, it's weather. It's part of the game. It's just part of what it is. But I think it's all about mindset.
What'd you think about Quinshawn and especially using the Wildcat? Kevin said they came up with that Thursday.
Yeah, huge. I think anytime you can get +1 in the run game, you can utilize that and have ultimate trust in Quinshawn, but also what we want to do in short yardage. And the more versatile we can be there, the more it's going to help us for sure. So proud of Quinshawn for sure.
What can you say about the fact that you've played clean ball, you haven't turned it over in any of your games, and then you also were able to use your legs to get out of some trouble today, and how do you feel like you're operating in those ways?
Yeah, I think you always want to expedite the process of being able to play at a certain level, but there is understanding of natural progression as well. But
I don't think he liked being taken out of the game. I think you're onto something there. I agree with you. Also, Dillon Gabriel act like a robot, no personality at all. I agree. So, do y'all remember the Russell Wilson comments, controversy? Channing Crowder from the pivot, he was saying basically he called Russ lame off the field and said, "Oh, he's not a guy that you want to hang with." It caused a lot of controversy. But I saw what he was saying. He was not saying he's a bad human being. Like, I'm not saying Dillon is a bad human being, but this doesn't motivate anybody. Nobody hears him speak and say, "You know what? That's our guy. We got to go put it all on the line for him." I don't get that. This might as well be Kevin Stefanski. Very Stefanski coded. I agree. Zedric, you said something earlier. You said it seems like they don't like certain personalities. And I agree with you. This is what they want at quarterback. This is what they want at all their star players. They don't want guys who are going to actually say what they feel, where they can't control them. That's why it was such a big issue with Myles Garrett by him calling out. He called out Stefanski. We didn't run the ball enough. We need to run the ball better. Teams know if we can't score that they can just punt and they can get it back on the next one. They don't got to take risks. We can't take risk on defense. They don't like that because that put pressure on them. That put so much pressure on them. So this is what they want. They want the guy who says nothing. But if this team, I don't want this, but if this team was 2-8, so we lost the next 3 games. We lost the next 3 games in a row. Are they being motivated by him saying anything to them? Are they saying we got to go get this one for him? No. They sitting there like, get this dude from in front of us. We don't believe what he's saying. He doesn't even believe what he's saying. This is probably the most telling I've seen Dillon Gabriel. To me, he knows he didn't play well. He knows the team won. I got a passing grade just for showing up. That's what he knows. And he can't even hide it. That's why he's so dry. He also, this is a very short press conference. He's trying to run away towards the end. I'm going to show y'all. Oh, we done? All right, he's trying to dip. They like, Mary Kay like, I got another question. We ain't letting you off the hook that easy. So, y'all see it. Nope, we will rally behind. Who will rally behind you when it matters as much? That's a fact. Charmaine, what's going on? DG a robot? I agree. Do you think they're going to trade Njoku or Conklin? I hope they don't. I think if they had intentions to trade them, I think it's kind of calmed down due to both of them being injured and missing the game. So I don't know if they'll still have the same opportunity to trade them with both of them coming off an injury. Also, it doesn't look the same for Harold Fannin in the past game when Njoku's not there. When they can put a top defender on Harold Fannin, it doesn't look the same. I'm just going to say that. I'm not the one that's trying to move off of Njoku. I want to keep Njoku, but it don't look the same for Harold Fannin. Stefanski called this game with a level of desperation, called the games prior like he wasn't on the hot seat. That's a fact. That's a fact. He just, it's a big indictment when you take out the quarterback in key moments in a game. That is a big indictment against the quarterback. And Kevin Stefanski said, basically, I don't care how Dillon Gabriel feels. It's my job. This is when you see it's every man for himself. Andrew Berry is separating himself from Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski, no, Dillon is his guy. He needed to win. He had to kind of separate himself a little bit from Dillon Gabriel. This is when alliances don't matter, when it's about you having a job or you not. And that's what it is. And we saw it play out. And nobody can get me to see it otherwise. Because we called this before it happened, and then now it's happening. Everybody is opening their eyes to it, but we saw this coming. Let me show y'all the end of this press conference when he's trying to dip out. Let me see. And Mary Kay's like, nah, we got another one for you.
In many areas, and there's a lot of things that you want to clean up. But I think that's what I'm excited most is guys are eager, guys want to be better. And when you look at the areas of improvement, it's encourage, and we always encourage that. But definitely, like I said, winning is fun for sure. Don't get that twisted.
How do you build off that? You say build off of this performance, and in what ways do you feel like you have to build?
I think the more film you put together as a unit, there's more to take away. And I think there's a lot of areas that we improve week to week that we want to improve on. And you see us run the football like that. But there'll be areas like we always talk about in the red area and third downs. That never changes, being plus in the turnover margin. Those, not one area will just allow you to win. Of course, there's certain areas that will. But I think when you come together with all three areas, everyone leaves the field a lot happier because you put yourself in a good spot to go win games. So it'll be marginal gains and try to improve every single week. That's all you can do.
Having said that, how good did you feel about the way the defense took a lot of pressure off you in that side of the ball today?
We got an ultimate trust in our defense. We know I don't think that's ever changed from week one. But I think there has to be a certain way that we all play to complement one another, but then also taking gains and growth from each side. The trust in our defense, trust in the special teams and offense will never change, but you want to see each group grow individually and then together as well. So that's what we're focused on.
I watched the press conference yesterday with the Myles Garrett and Dillon tried to cut off. They cut it out in the edited version there. When you ask a person a question and they start to sound like this.
Have you ever had a dream that you could?
That's what we just watched, y'all. That's what we just watched. We didn't see confidence. We didn't see somebody who knew that they had a part in winning the game. We are seeing his confidence put to the test to see if it's real or fake. And every week is going to build on if he is truly confident or if they were doing all this stuff to build up his confidence. At this moment, I would say they're doing stuff to build up his confidence. DG have not improved. Yeah, he hasn't improved. He has not improved. DG, in my opinion, will never be a QB1, the leader of a team. I agree with that, Marie. You need to galvanize people. People need to believe in the words that you say. They have to feel some type of way when you say something. Nobody feels any type of way when he talks. It's nothing. It's nothing at all. We have the ultimate trust in our defense right out of Stefanski playbook. You caught that, Zedric? Put your door in. The team need a real leader who's going to make plays. That's a fact. It's a fact. It's just when you watch these guys, you really start to see what they enjoy. That's why I showed y'all the difference when they were speaking on Mike McDaniel, Drake May was, and versus them. You see the difference, and it's night and day. It's night and day. Nobody's running through a wall for him. Nobody's motivated by him. Nobody is. It's not happening. So if you have a coach that you're not motivated by, you have a quarterback that you're not motivated by, you're going to need somebody to turn up the heat. That's it, Marie. It's like, what is you saying? It's like, what are you saying? So that's what we got. I think I'm a patient person, and I think that the team going through this and things happening this way is only going to set it up to be better for Shedeur when he gets the opportunity. When Shedeur gets the opportunity, it's going to be it's going to be like a cool breeze just blowing through the window when you first crack it open. That's what's going to be for Shedeur coming in, because you see that they just don't have the people there to galvanize the troops. They don't have the people there who, push them further in the pursuit of greatness. So we gonna see what happens. We're going to see. Shout out to Beast. Beast, that just reminded me. Beast, do y'all remember, Dillon is a backup. I agree, Ms. Brown. Do y'all remember when Beast asked me a question a while ago? Let me find this real quick. Let's go here. Let's throw this up real quick. Beast asked me a question, and I alluded to it yesterday, and I just thought about it. I don't know what comment made me think about it. They will run through a brick wall for Shedeur. It showed in that preseason game probably why he didn't want to show any love to 12. Yeah, you don't want to. That's basically, you'll be handing over your leadership to Shedeur. He didn't want to do that. Was it here? I think it was here. I believe Kevin is on the hot seat. It's not from before. All right, here we go. Man, Van. What? Man, the Streamlabs bot, why is it attacking you this way, man? Streamlabs bot, this is bullying. You can't be bullying people in the chat. You got to relax. The bot has to relax. DG hurt himself in the media making slurs against Shedeur, especially when he roughed that guy that sacked him a week ago while he was still on the ground. That's a fact. People see that. I thought that was a sign of his confidence and his demeanor cracking. Yeah, man, it's only you though. I don't know what it is. It's like you would make 3 comments, the bot says nothing. The bot be sleeping on the job. And then Van make a comment and then the bot just come back like, oh, actually I'm here to work. It's like, come on now, bot, what you doing? But B set me up. This is like that Dwayne Wade, LeBron alley-oop. And I still think this is true. And I wanted to play this yesterday because people in the Cleveland media have got to this place, and this is where we were. This is from 3 weeks ago. So let me get it pulled up here. Let's go here. Let's go boom. Let's go boom. All right, so this is Beast. Beast, he threw me the alley-oop. This is where we at with the Cleveland Browns. One thing, it's one factor that is one reason why I believe Kevin is on the hot seat. It's not from performance. It's not from the Browns. Kevin is on the hot seat because his players on the defense, the way that they're playing, the way that they're balling, they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if you have enough of those players on the defense who are producing, who are under contract, who are in their prime, a Myles Garrett, a Denzel Ward, those guys go upstairs and say, hey, Kevin is not the guy. That is how Kevin can lose his job, even if the owner wants to keep him. So B set me up with the alley-oop. If you notice, more people in Cleveland media are starting to view it that way. This is from exactly 3 weeks ago when B set me up with that question and I gave that answer. So even though they got the win, I don't believe it changes anything. I think Kevin Stefanski is still in the exact same position he was in prior to this game. This means nothing. He coached like his job is on the line. Next week, he's going to have to coach like his job is on the line. So it's funny that I say so many things. Sometimes I'm like, I got to pull receipts on myself because I know when new people watch me, they're like, man, if this dude say I said this 3 weeks ago, I said this a month ago, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to pull the receipts on myself to show that I'm not just making this stuff up. So I just had to pull that out. Had to show y'all. That was Beast. Beast threw me the alley-oop on that question, like he always does. So always shout out to Beast. I always appreciate you being here. This has been another great show. We broke it down. We went over the game. We went over Dillon Gabriel. We went over Kevin Stefanski. We went over what the Browns said they were going to be 5 years ago. We determined if they are that today. The answer was no. We also gave you the blueprint for how I would rebuild the Browns because I still believe the Browns need to be rebuilt. We will be back doing this thing again tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. We are talking quarterbacks. Hopefully the all 22 is there. If the all 22 is there, we will get some all 22 from Dillon Gabriel, We will also talk about college quarterbacks. We're talking Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza. We're talking, who am I missing from college? Ty Simpson broke down his film. So we are really going to, I would give Dillon a C. He gets a passing grade because they didn't win. Because they didn't lose, but he didn't do anything. Basically, when you were in school and you get a C for showing up, that's what I would give him. He just got it from showing up. I'm going to start from the beginning. I jumped on late. All good, all good. Miss Jones says she giving him a D. Hey, I can respect it. I can respect the D because basically they started throwing the ball late in that game for no reason to get him stats. And it was, I think it was Big Dog 2018 who said it. So Dart balled out yesterday. As much as I don't like the double standard, yeah, Dart balled out yesterday. Brian Daboll really was poor at the end of that game. It's your football IQ and that golden memory calling the truth. Shout out to you, Van. I appreciate it. I think every person has a superpower. You just got to tap into what that superpower is. Mine is I can hear something one time and remember it. So I know that's not something that everybody can do, but that's one of those things. I hear it one time, I could recall back to it. So shout out to you. I appreciate that compliment. So we're gonna get to it tomorrow. We're also gonna be talking Jackson Dart tomorrow. We talked a little bit of Joe Flacco today. We're not gonna get too deep into Joe Flacco. Also, I might do a pop-up show on Friday. I'm thinking about it. We have the NBA coming back this week. We got games starting on Tuesday. We got games on Thursday. We got NFL football on Thursday. So I'm trying to look at my schedule to see if it makes sense to do a Friday stream. I'm trying to work it out because, of course, we're going to have Browns news. We're going to have Cavs news. We're going to have NBA things going on. We'll have NFL games going on. So just be on the lookout. It might be a schedule tweak in the works. We might be going maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because Monday we can recap. Wednesday we can talk quarterbacks. We can look over tape. And Friday we have more NBA basketball, NFL football, Browns leading us into the weekend. So I'm thinking about it. Haven't fully decided on it yet, but I'm going to let y'all know if we make that change. It won't be the week of. I'll try to let y'all know a week in advance or at least a couple days in advance so I just don't spring it up on y'all and switch up the schedule. So something I'm thinking about. Just want to be transparent with y'all and let y'all know what's going on. Jeffrey, what's going on? Jeffrey, we getting to the end of an amazing show. Definitely, you gotta check out the replay of this show, Jeffrey. Comment. I'll check the comments a little bit later on today. So if you agree, disagree, whatever it is, how you feel about today's show, definitely comment on YouTube, and then I'll get back with y'all. But it's been another great show. Shout out to y'all. I wouldn't be doing this without y'all. Y'all give me that motivation. Y'all give me that push. Y'all give me that drive to show up for y'all. And hopefully you enjoy it and appreciate it. And, I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace. Let's get it.